This is your video for your 2026 makeup for Junior A. I'm going to go through base products and basically just your very basic makeup. You are welcome to do slightly more makeup than this with the base. I am just going to keep it very simple and basically do the bare necessities of everything you need to do your makeup. So I've already done my eyebrows. Most of you have beautiful eyebrows. If you're blonde like me, I would 100% recommend filling them in or getting a tinted brow gel or something like that. If anyone needs help or wants a tutorial or anything like that, please reach out to me and I can make that happen. Super easy, but especially when you're on the floor, it's harder to see facial features, so your eyebrows definitely help. Oh my gosh. Okay, to start out, I've already moisturized my face and I used a primer. Primer is not necessary, but I like to use one. It just makes things so much better and just helps your makeup stay on, especially if you're going to be sweating. But if you don't have one, don't sweat it. So I'm going to use foundation. I'll link a couple pretty cheap foundations below. I really just want to make sure I have good coverage. You want to make sure your shade match is pretty good. You don't want to be overly orange or yellow or anything like that. But I like to use a brush. And you don't need something that's 100% full coverage. Like this on me is very light, but it just helps even out my skin tone. And all things like that. All the good things. Make sure you're blending it all the way down your neck. And then I like to go over with a beauty blender, or you can just start with a beauty blender and pat it in my skin. I'm also going to make sure I get foundation on my eyes. I'm going to use concealer, so I'm going to put that on my eyes, but that's going to help our eyeshadow stick. You can also use an eyeshadow primer if you have that, but for me, concealer is probably the easiest, and I'm going to use it anyways. So if you don't have concealer, don't worry about it. If you would like to use concealer, you totally can. I'm just going to use it, and I love it for on my eyes. I'll link some cheaper concealers and everything like that below as well, but definitely not necessary if you don't have it. So, but you do want to make sure you have something on your eye so the eyeshadow will actually stick to it and actually stay. Okay. And now I'm going to use a blush. I prefer cream blush over powder blush, but use what you have. You can use powder, you can use cream, whatever works best for you. I'm just going to do little dots. With show makeup, you do want your makeup to be a little bit more dramatic than your everyday, a little more full coverage. So I love blush, so I mean I wear this amount of blush every day, but you definitely want to be able to see it, because from farther away you're not going to be able to see it if it's just very light. So yes, this is intense, but from far away it's going to look very normal. And especially I feel like blush just fades off my face so fast. You can use both if you want a powder blush and a cream blush, whatever works best for you, but you just need one or the other. I'll link some options of both cream and powder that I personally like, that are more budget friendly if you need options. See, there's my blush, just on top of my cheeks is all I'm doing, and I like to bring it up a little bit higher, just my cheeks and a little bit higher. Okay, and then as far as base goes, the last thing you're going to need is a powder. So you can use a pressed foundation powder, you can use a loose setting powder like I'm using, whatever works best for you, whatever you have. Again, you just want to make sure it matches your skin tone so that when you're on the floor you don't look orange or anything like that. This one's actually pink because I'm so pale. But especially you want this to be under your eyes, on your smile lines, anywhere that you're going to smile or sweat, you want to make sure you have powder there as well. But whatever works best for you. But you definitely want to make sure you have a powder on top of your foundation. Otherwise, you are going to sweat off all of your foundation. But that is it for your base. So that is the minimum requirements for just your base makeup without any eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, anything like that. This is it. Super simple, super easy. It took me about 5 minutes to do, so not very crazy. And on the camera it doesn't look like I'm wearing any blush, but I promise I am. But yes, if you want any more questions about base makeup, feel free to ask me, and I will totally answer any questions. Now let's move on to that. Alrighty, here is how our eye looks, and now I'm going to show you how to do it. It's super, super duper easy. It takes very little effort. I have just 2 eyeshadow brushes. I have, well, I use 3, but you definitely only need 2. A nice fluffy one and a more denser brush. And then for the sparkles, I'm just going to use my finger. You can also use a brush if you'd like, and you'd use like a dense brush like this, or you can use a Q-tip or one of the foam spongy ones. But personally, I think my finger works best for sparkles. So here's how it is, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So first of all, we want to make sure we have that concealer or that eyeshadow base or foundation all over our eye. That way it's wet and sticky. So first, I'm going to take my big fluffy brush. And in my palette, I'm going to use this light brown shade. It's called Pressure. And I'm just going to dab into this. And then I'm always going to tap off. You see how that coming off? I'm going to tap off the excess on my brush. That's going to help. So because, especially I already have my foundation on, I don't want eyeshadow to be underneath my eye. So that's going to make sure there's no excess foundation on, or not foundation, no excess eyeshadow on this brush. So all I'm going to do with this light brown color is I'm going to rub it all in my crease. So right where my eye and my lid meet is where I'm going to rub it in, and I'm just going to kind of blend it up. This is going to be our base blending color, and all the colors are going to blend into this, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go in. Just with a really light hand. I don't want to put too much pressure. I'm just going to use like a windshield washer motion and swipe it between my crease, more focusing on this outer corner than on the inside. And then I don't want there to see how there's a really harsh line. The farther I hold my brush away from the tip, the lighter of the blend it's going to get. So if I need a lot of pigment, I'm going to hold it really close. And if I want it to be more blended, I'm going to hold it farther away. So now that I have my pigment set, I'm just going to hold my brush farther away and blend it out the best I can. It doesn't have to be super perfect. And I just want to make sure I have some in this corner right here as well. And in my lid. You don't really need any on your lid because we're going to put sparkles there, so no point in putting eyeshadow there anyways. You don't need to try to make like a wing shape or anything. I like to go and clean up the shape of my eyeshadow just with either extra foundation, or I use like a dry cotton pad and just kind of clean it up. Okay, now that I have that brown put in place and it's mostly blended out, it's okay if it's not perfect, I'm going to take my denser packing brush and I'm going to go into the shade Aubergine. And same thing, I'm just going to pack it gently and then tap it off. Now, on this, I'm going to make like a V shape on my eye. So I'm going to go, instead of coming up here, I'm just going to go in the crease and across my waterline, just right here. And I'm going to make a little V shape with my eyeshadow. So just in the crease, like that. And then on the waterline. And you kind of want to spike it out just a little bit. Just like that. See? I'm just going to tap all that product in. And now I'm going to tap, I'll like to take like on the back of my hand, or this is a really dry makeup wipe that I use. I'm just going to wipe off a lot of that excess pigment. It's just going to make it easier to blend. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. And then I am just basically going to go the same motion as I did the brown and swipe it all over to kind of just drag that color towards the inside of my eye and blend it out. Like that. Now I'm going to take the same fluffy brush I had and I'm going to blend the purple in with the brown. So I'm holding farther away from my brush and I'm just going to use that windshield washer motion and go back and forth. Just like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to make sure I can see both brown and purple. And then I'm going to go back in and just put a little bit more purple. Sometimes it can get a little lost, but there we go. That looks pretty good. So now I have my light brown and my dark purple, and I'm going to do my sparkles. So personally, I like to use, it's called a glitter primer. If you buy one thing that is not recommended, I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Where I just had it. It is this. Mine looks ancient because I've had it since I was a freshman in high school. Since this like has gone through all of colored with me, and there's still like at least half the tube in here. It's a couple bucks. This is the one thing I definitely would recommend, and you're probably going to use for the rest of your color grade career if you continue to do color grade. If not, you can use a little bit of foundation, a little bit of concealer, and if you don't want to do that, you can just put the sparkles right on top, but they're not going to be as sparkly. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit, literally the tiniest bit on the back of my hand. I'm going to take one of my fingers, so I'm going to take my middle finger, I'm going to rub it out, and I'm literally just going to put it right on my lid right here. And I'm just going to tap, tap, tap it. This stuff is pretty sticky. Same thing will, like foundation and concealer will be a little sticky. I'm just going to tap it on my lid. Now I'm going to use a different finger that doesn't have the sparkles on it. And I'm going to go into the shade Whoa, which is the pink sparkly shade. And I'm going to rub it on my finger until I have a good amount. And same thing, I'm going to tap and rub. So with shimmers, you kind of want to rub them so they all lay flat rather than sticking up almost. So I'm going to tap it in place. See that? Then I'm just going to rub it right in place. And I'm just going to tap it where I want it. And then rub it with my finger. I've been doing makeup for many, many years, and my fingers will still be the best tools. Okay. Now that I have my sparkles where I want them, I'm going to go back in with that fluffy brush and just go over my crease and kind of drag the purple into my sparkles a little bit. Just make sure everything is super blended. Use a little extra on this side. Ta-da! And now with my leftover eyeshadow on my packing brush, I'm just going to go right underneath my eye. Not anything crazy, but I just want to make sure there's a little bit of eyeshadow to connect here to here. So I'm just going to slightly pull my eye and look up. And then I'm just going to put it right underneath. It doesn't need to be in your waterline, but just the tiniest bit. See how that just kind of completes it all? And as far as eyeshadow, that's all for eyeshadow. So you are going to wear eyeliner. I have a wing because I like the way a wing looks. If you do want to do winged eyeliner, please do not do anything crazy. Make sure it's pretty small. But for the most part, I really just want black liner on top of your eye. So I like to use a liquid liner. You could use a pencil liner if that works better for you. Whatever your preference is. So I like to start with my wing and then go back in, but whatever works for you. So I'm going to keep my eye open while I do this because I have hooded eyes. So when I open my eye and close it, my eyeliner looks different just based on the shape of my eye. So I'm going to basically follow the angle of my bottom lash line and just go straight up from there. And I'm just going to make the tiniest little line, just like that. And then I'm going to go in like the middle of my line and drag it to my lash line. Then I'll fill it in where it needs to be filled in. And grab a little bit more eyeliner. And now I'm just going to make a really thin line right across the top of my lash line. As thin as I can make it. Looks pretty perfect to me. Now, eyeliners, sisters, not twins. Mine match surprisingly well today. But if they don't, that's totally okay. Oh man, I'm gonna go make sure this is even. There we go. Sometimes you'll notice, like, just make sure they're as even as possible. If it's not as even as you'd like, it's totally okay. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to curl my eyelashes. You definitely don't have to curl your eyelashes. And then I'm going to go in with a waterproof mascara and do at least 2 coats and put some on my bottom lash line. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. It's just going to really help your eyes pop. Oh man, of course I did that on camera. Well, here's your life hack for you. If you get eyeliner or mascara on your eyeshadow, take a clean spoolie. And if you just twist it, oh man, we'll see if this works. It'll help take it off without removing everything. Let's see. Oh man, epic fail, guys. I'm just going to blend it back out. It works better with mascara than eyeliner. Oh man. And this is why we make it easy to fix. See? Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara. I'm just going to do very light so I can make this quick. You'll put more mascara on than that, but just a little light. And then I'm just going to do my lipstick. I like to use a lip liner most of the time, but you definitely don't have to. Oh, there's no lipstick. I already got it out. So this is Touch of Spice. This is also going to be your parade lipstick for fall. So it's kind of perfect to be able to buy it. And you just want to make sure you stay in your lips. Or you don't overline them. And that's your makeup for your show. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me at practice, or you can comment down below on this video, or you can, I'll leave my, for parents, I'll leave my phone number. Kids, please do not message me. And you are welcome to message me, ask any questions about products, about how to do it, if you need help. With the hair, it's just 2 Dutch braids. If you need help with that, please also message me, because I can help with some on show days. There's one show I'm not going to, so you'll have to find someone for that, but I can help some. Thanks so much.